in implementing this process, she's had 1,000 people go through the Quick Start Guide and been able to convert clients at over 5 figures per client. I'm super stoked on today's topic. Today, we are diving into how to sell your online coaching services using video. And I have one of my favorite students, which I probably shouldn't call her that, but hey, she is this. And this is Vendy Steinberga. I'm bringing her on the show to talk about her transformation as she has transitioned from being an employee to becoming an online coach and making it happen for herself. So we're going to be diving into the real story of what it looks like to make this happen for yourself. I'm Amanda Horvath, and I help eliminate the obstacles to getting you sitting where I'm sitting right now in front of the camera, sharing your message with the world. So if you're ready to use video in your strategy this year, then be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time I release a new video. All right, I want to dive straight in because once again, this is YouTube. This is not a podcast. So Vendy, why don't we kick things off with you kind of introducing yourself and tell us what it is that you do today.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Such a pleasure to be here. So I am a LinkedIn coach and I help business owners sign up high-ticket clients on LinkedIn, but through inbound client attraction. So don't like spammy messages, don't like cold outreach. So people come to me when they really want to be recognized as the experts in what they do and then have clients chasing after them. That's what we do.
And she's freaking good at it, you guys. I have taken her course, she's taken my course. This is like such a perfect relationship in terms of just collaborating and everything like that, which we'll talk about as well. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this, because before you were doing this, you were actually working for someone else. So talk about that transition for us.
Yeah, of course. That is absolutely true. I was working in a tech company. And at the time, again, I was the chick who was working like 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., 6 days a week. That was totally me going to the office. Always had a lot of energy for that. And I was actually planning to go to Australia. So from London, where I'm right now, to Australia, Sydney, to open up a new office for a company. And then 2020 hit and the world had slightly different plans. And I basically found myself at home with kind of a lot more time on my hands. We were all under house arrest and I didn't have to be at the office at 7 a.m. and I needed to do something. So really I just enrolled myself, and we can talk about this, into a YouTube course first. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna talk about LinkedIn because that was the only social media platform I hadn't given up myself, because in my early 20s, I gave up Facebook, I gave up Instagram. It just felt a little too unhealthy, and I didn't like the vibe, and LinkedIn was the only one I stayed on, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this. I can do this. I wanna be on video, and yeah, the rest is kind of history. It escalated very quickly, kind of signed up my first clients 30 days in, and this became my thing and grew the business and all the things we can dive into more as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to touch upon this because a lot of people, when they're first getting started, like especially in that 2020 phase, and if you guys are watching this video and you were part of this big rush of people that came to my YouTube channel because 2020 hit and you're like, video, I need to make it happen. So many people, they dove straight into YouTube and they bought a course that was a YouTube SEO course, making it happen for themselves. And I would love to chat about that. The course that she's referring to, we will not name what it is, but it was not launched with video just yet. So in doing that process, I would love to hear kind of the process of getting up and running, and how it eventually got to the point where it was like, this is not sustainable.
Yeah, that sustainable is a word that I learned from Amanda. So basically it took me, I was very excited for the journey. I was learning so much, completely did not know how YouTube worked. So basically I was like, okay, I need to do videos. There was this massive learning curve, and it really took me a whole weekend from morning till evening, so Saturday, Sunday, to just get one YouTube video done. So this involved like scripting it, doing the research, then filming, then editing. That was the big one. You have to upload it, like all of the things that you have to do. And again, it just took me 2 whole days and it was exhausting. And yeah, it did not, it was a bit much to do for me, but that's where I was at. So I hadn't met Amanda yet, and what actually happened is that I put out 10 videos. I did them to the best of my ability. You guys can go to my channel and laugh at my first videos. I think my video presence sucked. So we all start from being very bad on camera. And then I basically quit YouTube. Put out 10 videos, and I left for, I think, nearly a year. I completely left. And the beautiful thing is that my channel kept growing. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. It keeps growing without you investing in it. However, like, I was not ready to go back because I was like, I cannot be investing this much time in one video. It was crazy. And that's kind of where we met. And you were like, Vendy, there's a better way of doing this.
Exactly. Yeah, Vendy reached out to me and she was like, hey, I think it was a LinkedIn message. And I was like, who is this chick? Let me go check her out, you know, and I looked and we ended up hopping on a Zoom call, I guess, at one point and chatting about our journeys and whatnot. And I was like, there is a better way. And at the time I was in the place of thinking about expanding my reach to LinkedIn. Yeah. So you guys might have seen that video on this channel, watched me go through that process, and Vendy's course was the one that I took in order to make that happen. And in doing that process, it was kind of like this cool moment. And this is something I want to mention, that if you're thinking about getting started on your online journey, maybe you don't have an online presence right now, but you know it's important, you got to make it happen. It can feel really daunting and it can feel intimidating at first because it feels like you're speaking to a void. But as you continue producing videos, as you get out there, as you start chatting with people online, it starts to become super authentic and real, and you form genuine relationships with people across the globe that you've never met. Like Vendy and I have never actually met. We were supposed to, but because of COVID, it didn't happen. So I just want to kind of plug that as kind of a background to this whole situation. Is when you get started in this journey, you're going to meet fellow journeyers along the way that are also creating courses that you buy from. You're going to share networks and different things like that. So in this process of talking, I end up taking her course. She ends up taking mine. And I would love to hear about how video now feels compared to at that moment in time where you were like, Amanda, I can't do YouTube. Like, there's just no way to maintain this schedule. Yeah. So what do things look like today?
So things are so much easier now. I absolutely love the video process, love being in front of a camera, and yeah, like I'm back on YouTube, you guys have noticed, and video is a big part of what I do, and I'm in front of camera all the time, and definitely Amanda is the reason why I came back. And the reason why I did come back is because she just makes things so much more easier to kind of follow in a way of like, how do you produce content, right? I used to do it like every single week. I just would shoot like one video, and that's how I rolled. And then I learned from Amanda, no, Vendy, you're crazy. Like, you have to batch things, and like you have to have one YouTube day. You have to record everything at the same day so that you are ready for a month ahead, which again makes so much more sense, right? I do the same thing with LinkedIn, but I don't know, I never thought about it with video. So now it's like, great, I have my filming day. So it's just one day a month that I have to think about YouTube. That's it. And from that moment onwards, I actually don't edit the videos myself anymore. I basically pass it on to an outsourcer. And that's another beautiful thing that Amanda has in her course, which is like, well, how do you onboard someone? How do you onboard an editor and teach them the system that you want them to follow? And just basically, yeah, make your videos look beautiful. So that was a game changer for me. Like, because I'm not willing, and definitely at this stage of my business where things are growing so fast, I am not willing to edit myself. Like, that wouldn't happen. So the reason I came back is because I went through the program, and then this is kind of an addition, I believe, right, Amanda, to your existing program where you actually can train someone using your system, train an editor, and have them be like, okay, take over from here. I've done the recording. Now you run and give me the magic, bring me the magic back. And that was a big game changer.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad we're diving into this part of it, because when I was first getting started in my course business, and I've talked about this on this channel, I thought that I wanted to create a course on outsourcing because I saw that as the number one component that was essential to making videos sustainable. Because even if you know how to edit, you don't have time to do it. You are a business owner, you're focused on that area. There's no need to spend hours and hours watching your takes and different things like that. Like, even I mess up on camera these days. Like, you don't have to be perfect when you're filming your videos.
Yeah.
So in that process of being able to outsource your editing, you save so much time and you can truly focus on being the thought leader. And this is where I kind of want to take the conversation next, because this can be a really intimidating part of the process of growing online. So a lot of people, you're first getting started, you're stuck in the tech, right? Oh, video takes forever. I have to edit these videos. It's not sustainable. Well, what Launch with Video does, and as you're saying, it helps you get to the point where it is sustainable. And once the tech starts fading to the background, the next challenge is, okay, now I feel really raw online, right? Like, I'm sharing this content, I'm putting myself out there, I'm sharing a general narrative. Where am I going to take things from here?
Yeah.
And I would love to chat about this too, in terms of, you started as the LinkedIn chick, right? Yeah. And you grew very quickly as the LinkedIn chick, and you're still the LinkedIn chick.
Yeah.
But how do you see yourself in the long term, kind of being able to have your brand grow and evolve with you as an entrepreneur as you kind of continue navigating forward?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. And I've actually been going through my own journey this year of thinking about what are the things I want to talk more about. So once you do build your platform, and you guys are going to find yourself in the same situation, let's say I have LinkedIn and YouTube right now. And yes, marketing is a part of me. Like, I am a marketing chick. I know a lot about it. I love to coach it and share it. However, there are other sides of you that probably feel a bit suppressed because you're so focused on one that they don't get to shine. And you have to go through the journey of being like, well, how do I surface this other side of me? Because I genuinely believe that, so any coaches and consultants listening, and actually service-based business owners, people are actually buying into you, right? People make a decision to work with you because they resonate with your vibe, they like your energy, they're like, oh, I really like this chick, or I really like this dude, like there's something about them, right? That's how you attract them. So I always preach that, like, if people are buying you, you have to show up as yourself. And then that means it's okay to be talking about the things that you care about. So I am in the middle of thinking about creating a show. I'm talking about relationships, intimacy, feminine, masculine energy, because I actually know that my audience, my clients love that subject. I have had coaching calls, LinkedIn coaching calls, where we just end up talking about relationships, marriage, right? So if that is interesting to me and that is interesting to my audience, I want to now surface that. And I'm obviously still in a journey of discovering how to tie that in together. But right now it's kind of like one email about LinkedIn, one email about relationships. So that's like, I'm going to be balancing it out, but you don't have to kind of pigeonhole yourself into one spot, which I think many people do find themselves in when they're like, oh, I can't possibly do something else. But like, yes, you can, right? It's not, you're still offering the same service, but you're showing the world, hey, like, this is more of who I am, and people resonate with that because you're just being raw, and that's what people want to see. But it's a journey because it's a scary thing, right? I wouldn't have done this a year ago because I would be like, yeah, I was just not ready to share that side of me yet. And now I'm like totally ready. Let's talk about this. This is important. I'm very excited. And you just like kind of tie it in. You find a way to tie it in together so that people can relate to you and be like, I'm gonna go to her for LinkedIn because I actually really enjoy this conversation she had about relationships. So that's kind of how it all ties together.
Yeah, this is the thing that I have a really hard time putting my finger on whenever I talk about on this channel. Like, video changes your life. At first, the result of Launch with Video is, oh, hey, I have a video that I'm proud of and I'm actually releasing it. And oh, I'm actually sustainably producing videos, right? And over time, it's like the confidence comes through. Now you have more confidence, you have people watching, you have people commenting, you have real relationships forming like this one, and things start to kind of expand from there. And there's this like spiritual component of video that starts to come in that's like, hey, Vendy, you have something else to share. Like, let's make this happen. Let's get this out into the world, And that's when things start to get really fun. So I just wanted to kind of plant that seed for those of you that are just at the beginning of your journey, that you're just getting started. You don't necessarily know where things are gonna go, but you have an expertise that you're ready to share online, and that's all you need to know at the very beginning. So let's start grounding things back into reality and hit the actual goal of this video, which is how do you sell coaching services using video? And I want to dive into this concept of the quick start guide, right? So can you explain what this concept is that I teach in the course? It's one of the main strategies that I teach in Launch with Video, and how you went about approaching this strategy and utilizing it within your business to be able to get genuine results, bring in that money, to be able to create that space of who am I? What do I want to share with the world?
I love that. So I think we need to preface this by saying that YouTube is amazing, LinkedIn is amazing. However, we do not own those social media platforms. And you guys all witnessed that this was last year when Facebook went down, and which meant that Instagram went down and WhatsApp went down, right? Because Facebook owns those companies. So if you were to place that you solely rely on a social media platform to talk to your clients, you're in a pretty shaky position, because you could be, again, the platform could go down, or maybe what if the platform doesn't like what you're sharing? What if they don't like your content because you're kind of, I don't know, it's like it doesn't agree with the common narrative. Like, you could just get banned from a platform so easy these days. Like, people are canceling each other left, right, and center. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. So basically, the idea is that you want to have your own community that you can communicate to without relying on social platforms. So this is where your email list comes in, right? So I'm sure it's not a new concept. People have heard of it. Okay, you need to have an email list. But then the question becomes, well, how do you get people's email addresses? Like, how do you get them onto your list? And again, a common concept out there that people will know of is a lead magnet, or known as a freebie, which is like you give something to people that they want for free, and they're going to give you their email in return. So I would say the old school freebies are like ebooks and like cloned PDFs and things of that nature that no one really is interested in these days. Like, if you're gonna be like, oh, do you want to like download my ebook? And I was like, no, like, I'm not interested. We don't consume information that way. I don't want to read 100 pages of something. Like, you just don't need it, right? So because the world, and I personally consume information through video, like, you need to make it easier for someone to learn from you. So Amanda's way of creating that freebie is, rather than having a lot of text and like some sort of a checklist or a PDF, we do video. And if you're gonna be on video and you just appear there and be like, hey, you're basically telling them what you're gonna offer. They're like, yes, I want this. And then they get to know you. And through that journey, you get their email address. And even better, many times, you're gonna get a client out of it, right? And then that's what it's it. You're starting to build that platform. You now own the audience. You're building your list, which is super important to do in the background. Don't ever rely on social solely.
Yes. So the video strategy is, all right, create a bingeable 3-part video series that's going to get someone into your world, into your process of making it happen. So Vendy has an amazing example of this called the Quick Start Guide to LinkedIn that I will put in the description below. Definitely go check it out, because if you're considering LinkedIn, which honestly, I think the YouTube and LinkedIn 2-pack punch, like, it's perfect. Every time I think about like which platform to expand upon, or anytime anyone asks me which platform, I'm like, LinkedIn. Like, there's value to TikTok, it has its own space, but I think there's no question that like it's LinkedIn and YouTube is the way to go. So go check out that Quick Start Guide. You'll see the process. Now, Vendy, how has implementing this in your business helped you actually convert sales? So what's that look like? Someone goes in, they check out that Quick Start Guide. How many people have downloaded that Quick Start Guide? And how has that helped you actually get paid clients?
Yeah, so what you want to do when you set this up, so you don't want to just give let's say, your video in exchange for an email. what a beautiful thing you want to do at the end of your last video is to basically encourage someone to apply to have a call with you, right? Because now they went through your world, they got to know you a bit better, and now there's step, like you have that call to action at the end, like, hey, click to apply to have a call with me, right? If you qualify, we're gonna have a conversation. So I actually put out just a brand new quick start guide out, which was in January, and like 10 days later, I already had the first person going through the guide and booking a call with me, and that was, again, converting that sale, and that just happened there, right? So you will be getting clients through it, right? You just have to get creative, and this is where how it all ties together, right? How do you get people through it, right? So this is where you're going to be mentioning your quick start guide in your YouTube videos and on LinkedIn, in my case, right? Because it allows you to drive that traffic through here. You nurture them, they get a part of your world, and they're like, wow, I really resonate with this, I want this. And then they want to book a call with you, you have that call, and then you guys assess like if it's a good fit to work together. So it definitely delivers clients. So I'm YouTube, LinkedIn, and this quick start guide and relying on an email list has been an amazing thing for me. Those are my 3 big pillars of my marketing strategy, and definitely highly recommend following that.
Yeah, and in implementing this process, she's had 1,000 people go through the quick start guide, which is absolutely incredible, and been able to convert clients at over 5 figures per client. So Vendy is amazing in terms of the conversions and making it happen from that lens as well. So this strategy works whether you are charging 5 figures for your services or you're just selling an online course. So definitely be sure to check out Launch with Video if you're interested in this strategy. I will link to it in the description below. So to start wrapping this video up, Vendy, I would love to get your 2 cents on, let's say someone's watching this video, they're inspired by your story, they're inspired by this concept of growing and evolving throughout the years as they continue going on this video journey. They want to overcome that initial hurdle of making video happen for themselves, but they're on the fence, right? They're a full-time employee, possibly. Maybe they're a solopreneur. They're busy. They don't have the time to do this. What advice would you have for that person to kind of let them get off the fence one way or another?
You can't do everything yourself. Like, know that from the get-go. If you're going to try, you are going to give up, or you're gonna drop the ball. It's the reality. We all have done it. It is not sustainable. Again, Amanda's word, to do it by yourself. So from the get-go, like if I had met Amanda at the very beginning when I started my YouTube journey, like that would have been amazing, because I would not have dropped off YouTube. And I already have beautiful videos on YouTube with 100,000 views, but what could I have achieved if I didn't leave for a year? You know what I mean? So it's when you have to have coaches in your world, and I have so many, it's you're just gonna grow so much faster, right? It's the speed. Do you really want to have a very slow growth over 5 years, or do you want to freaking blow up like I have and Amanda has? It's just you need the right people in your world, and that is still my priority. I invest in people who I want to learn from. And especially when it comes to video, again, small thing, but I did not know that it's okay to mess up in the middle of the video. I genuinely, at the beginning when I got started, I thought people just are so good on camera and they just go on there, they never mess up, and that's the video. And I learned through Amanda, hey, you don't have to be perfect, you can mess up, you fix things in editing. It would have been so much easier at the beginning when you just have no idea how it works, to have had someone hold my hand through the process, rather than having to freaking figure it out myself, learning how to edit myself through YouTube. That took me so much time, and think about, again, that should have been spent acquiring clients when I could have just invested in a program. It was ridiculous what I did by myself. And again, I wish we had met earlier, but again, everything happens in perfect timing, and I'm glad we crossed the paths when we did, because then everything is easy on the video part from that point onwards.
So you heard it from her mouth, folks. Don't try to make it happen yourself. Get into a program that actually will take you through the entire learning curve quickly, because there's nothing more painful than struggling on your own. I'm all about overcoming that struggle. So thanks for watching this video, you guys. And Vendy, thank you so much for being here on this channel. It's been such a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Oh, I absolutely always love chatting to you, Amanda. And again, this has been a beautiful, we've built a beautiful relationship. And as you said from the beginning, it's like when you meet the right people on your journey, things flourish. So yeah, it's been great, and happy to have a conversation with anyone who wants to chat about the program. If you guys want to reach out and ask me for more insights and feedback and how I went through it, and whether you should take the leap, definitely feel free to reach out on LinkedIn, because Amanda's a chick.
That I am. Well, thanks for watching, y'all. If this video was helpful, please be sure to click like, drop your comments below letting us know, and definitely be sure to check out Vendy's Quick Start Guide to LinkedIn for some inspiration and to kickstart your LinkedIn journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.